Swole Benji here. Today I'm going to talk to you about New World, new player mistakes to avoid, and some general tips and tricks. Let's get into it. Alright, the first tip is actually about housing. Do not rush into buying a house, alright? So when you buy a house, you get a teleport that's on a 2 to 4 hour cooldown, you get some item space, you get some storage space, and you can eventually have trophies. But houses cost quite a bit of money in the early game. I know it may not sound like it, but they are a very huge investment and you don't really get much out of it. If you want to cheese the storage system, you can use the market. I have a video on that. Also, it's weekly rent, by the way. Like, the game lies to you. Whenever you get rent, it says that your rent is half off, but that's only for your first week. After that, you get charged full price. Now, I have a huge discount due to being high-leveled in my territory, but if someone took over this town, they could jack up the rent by 5 times the amount that I'm currently paying. So, I'm paying $352, so I would have to pay like $1,000 or $1,500 something in rent if the new owners decided they want to be greedy about it. So, that is a huge, like, even at this amount, this small amount, it's a pretty big sink. This money can be better spent on questing, materials, gear, anything else. Now, I'm not saying that money's hard to make in this game. I'm just saying that the benefits of owning a house in the early game there's just barely any. Yeah, you get a free teleport, some extra storage space. It's not worth the weekly rent. The teleport alone is not even worth it. Housing is more of an in-game thing so that you can stack trophies and craft better gear. So don't bother with housing as a brand new player. Alright, next tip. Alright, tip number 2 is when you do buy a house, the very first house you should buy should be the most expensive one, which is the 20,000 coin house. And the reason is because your first house gets a discount, alright? So right now, if I bought this house, I'd have to pay 20,000, but if I had not bought a house yet, I would only pay 10,000, and I would get the lowest cooldown, the most items, which also, if you hover over this question mark, you can have 4 storage chests. The main draw of having a house is your storage chests. This house that I own is only 2 storage chests. So, a lot of people want to know, if you abandon your first house and you don't have one, do you get the first house bonus back? And I'm not really sure on that. So, let's find out together. I'm going to abandon the house. So, there we go. I no longer own a house. Alright. Now, this house only cost 5,000 when I bought it. I'm not getting the new house bonus. So that answers your question of if you buy a house and then abandon it, do you get back your first ever house ownership? And the answer is no. So this was my first house whenever I played. This is the beta. So I spent only 5,000 because it was my first house. Whereas if I bought this one, which is a way better house, it's twice as much better. I would only pay 10,000, but now I have to pay 20,000. So if you want to save coin, make sure not to buy a house until it is the most expensive one. Buy the cheap houses in other towns just for the teleport if you want, but don't make your first house a cheap one because you're going to lose a lot of coin. Alright, number 3 is having a shield equipped when you aren't a swordsman, okay? You can see a lot of newbies doing this. Let's try to find one here just in the town. Let's see. I think he's using a sword. But basically, you have this shield slot, right? And when you put a shield in it, it increases your equipment load. Not your overall carry weight, but just your equipment load. So you could be full light armor, but if for whatever reason you have a kite shield on your back, you're now a medium load and you can't roll. Like, you can see people all over the world that have shields on their backs, and they're never using the shields. The thing is like, whenever, you die or you do a death warp, you lose durability. You can see all my stuff's broken. That's fine, but having a shield will also break your shield. There's no reason to have a shield on your back if you're not using it. Like this guy, he's clearly a swordsman. This guy, he's got gun and looks like sword. Okay, so what do we have here? Gun, sword. Okay, well, it looks like a lot of people are starting to learn not to equip a shield when they're not, using one. But you still see them every once in a while. Like, here's a guy. Looks like, yeah, he's also a swordsman. So you can see that a lot of players aren't doing this. But as a newbie, like, here's one. He's gun hammer, but he's got his shield on his back. His armor, what's his armor? It looks like it's medium. So that metal shield with medium armor is most likely putting him at heavy load. Anyway, Don't use a shield if you're not using a sword. There's no point, you get no benefit from it, unless you just really like the aesthetic look of it, but even then, it just doesn't help your character at all. Alright, number 4, the market. This thing right here, this little, the trading post. It is not a vendor, okay? You go here, and then you click sell, and you'll have a list of items that you have. And I have all my furniture now in storage for sale, apparently, because I'm homeless. Alright. So if I click blueberry, and then if I click place sell order, or there's a sell button right here, right? Now what's happening is this is not a vendor. This is an actual player in the game who is offering to buy a blueberry for 2 pennies. Okay? Now if we actually go to blueberry and look at the actual price, the cheapest that another player is actually selling it for is 30 cents. So I should actually click sell and do sell order and sell it for 29 cents if I want to sell it at under market value. Otherwise, I'm basically giving some guy blueberries for 2 cents who's going to turn around and sell it for 30 cents, which is actually pretty cheap for blueberries. But regardless, the market, there is no vendor. It's not World of Warcraft. You don't go offload all your junk to an NPC and get money for it. Everything that you're trading for is a real player from, like, anything you sell to this market is to and from real people, okay? So don't get tricked by buy orders. Alright, the next one, this one might be fixed when the game launches, but constantly repairing. You do not need to constantly repair your gear. You only need to repair your gear if you need the gear for something. So let me explain. Alright, you'll see here that all my gear has little red X's and they're all flashing red because it's all broken, right? However, I'm still getting the base stats. Like if we look at this helmet here, I'm still getting the armor and the physical and the elemental resistance from the armor, but I'm not getting the constitution, the focus, or the pristine pearl giving me lucky 2 perk, or the resilient perk. But I'm getting everything else. Same with the axe. I can still use the axe. I can still use its abilities. I just don't get the nature damage conversion. I don't get any of the stats from any of the stuff. So if anything, right now, I'm just basically a heavy armor axeman, and that's it. No special bonuses, no special needs. If I'm out here like grinding level 15 mobs or hunting cats that are level 20, I'm a level 43 character. They stand no chance. I don't need to have any armor durability or bonuses to do that. Sure, it would let me one-shot them instead of two-shot them, but at the same time, because I'm not constantly repairing, I'm not running out of repair parts or spending coin, and at the same time, I'm free to do this where I just go game menu, respawn, and I can essentially death warp around. So I can teleport back to town after gathering, and when you die, your gathering tools don't suffer durability, alright? So you'll see here my gathering tools, they don't become broken when I die, only the equipment that you use in PvE, right? And all you gotta do to repair, of course, you just hover over it, you hold R, you left click, and then you pay coins and repair parts. It's very simple. So if I was doing a group dungeon, or if I was doing hard content, I would of course repair my gear before I did it. But currently, if I'm just running around like level 20 zones, killing mobs, or, you know, skinning animals, then I don't need to have my equipment repaired, because if anything, it's going to lose durability when I death warp around. So you don't need to be constantly repairing all the time. Only repair when you truly need something. Alright, so number 6, you should always take the freebies in town. So every town has like a little honey pot here you can use, and you can get some free honey. And this is used to craft rations and other foods. It's free, so you should always take it. If you need water, you can take the water. It'll save you from having to run all the way down here, or all the way down here for water. If you want, obviously. But other towns have other freebies too. Like here, this is a hide supply cart. Now, I can't gather this because I'm not part of the syndicate, but if I was on the purple team, then every like 20 minutes or so, I can literally get some free hide from this if I want. And that's a perk of being in a town where your faction is the controlling faction. But other towns also have other freebies, like First Light and Monarch's Bluff. I believe they have a cow. You can just go milk a cow and get 20-something milk, and dependent on the zone, milk is actually a little pricey. Like, let's check the price right now. Let's just see. How much is milk? And you get 20 milks for free. They're $4 here, a jar. So 4 times 20, like, come on now. That's, what is that? That's 80 bucks or something? So you just made 80 coin for free every time you visit the town. So you should always load up on the freebies every time you're in a town. Don't skimp on them. Make sure you're grabbing them every single time. You will absolutely benefit from it. There's no reason not to. Alright, number 7, you should always harvest the best possible node. Let's say I'm out looking for wood. We have a little thin baby tree here. We have like a thick boy, kind of a medium boy, and then we have a 4x4 boy. Alright, so check this out. Whenever, hold on, we don't want to grab the nuts. We're going to chop this tree down, and the yield, we hit 4 times for 14 wood, 73 XP. So we're going to hit this one now. That's going to be, what, also 4 hits? 4 hits, 14 wood, 73 XP. Now we're going to hit just one of these, and this is, you get four of these, right? So this is 5 hits, and we got 28 wood, that's double, and 140 XP, right? So obviously, if you're out chopping trees, yeah, sure, you can just mindlessly chop every tree you see in your path, or you can specifically hunt out these 4 nodes. The same goes for other resource nodes. Like if you're mining iron and you see like a little baby rock or a giant boulder, if you mine the giant boulder, you're going to get more resources for less time spent. Like, I know it seems kind of crazy that like here's a small example. Like we can mine this tiny little boulder. That's going to be 3 hits, and how much do we get? Alright, so that's 16. And this one's not really much bigger, but if it was really bigger, let's see how much we get. Is it going to also be 16? Okay, that one was 23 for 4 hits. So you can see that the bigger one was the better choice. So if you're rushing nodes with other players, you don't want to grab the small ones. You always want to grab the big one first because you will always get more. So make sure that you're harvesting the best possible node if given the opportunity. Alright, so this tip is more about PvP, but essentially when you make your character, if you give him extremely big hair that's really brightly colored, it is super easy to see from a faraway distance. And if you try to be stealthy in PvP, like hide in a bush or hide like camouflaged on the top of a mountain or something, right? And you have this really bright colored hair that's just visible for miles, you're going to easily be seen in the bush. Now, the game mechanics are if you're crouching or laying down, your nameplate will not be as viewable unless they're very close or looking directly at you. And most people running down a road aren't going to be eyeballing every single bush they walk across. So if you're trying to ambush a player and your hair looks like this, they're going to immediately spot you in the bush and start attacking you, okay? And another thing too is armor, because you can dye your armor. I see a lot of people running around in extremely bright yellow, orange, neon pink armor, and yeah, it's cool and it's funny. But for PvP purposes, you don't want to do that because you stick out like a sore thumb in the greenery, okay? So, if you want to do PvP stuff, you gotta be stealthy, use crouch, make sure your character doesn't look like a clown, alright? Unless you don't care about PvP, then clown it up, alright lads? Alright, number 9 is not utilizing campfire warps. This is a really big one that everyone should be doing. This will save you an extreme amount of travel time. For those that don't know, whenever you put down a campfire and you die, you can come back to the campfire. Or you can go to the nearest settlement, right? So here I've got a campfire. I've just got it like kind of in between Everfall, Windsward, and Monarch's Bluff, right? Now, if I run this way, right, towards towards what's it called? Windsward. I'm still learning the town names, guys. Okay, so I'm running towards Windsward right now, and I'm pretty close to Windsward. More close than any of the other towns, but how far away do I have to run? I would have to run about 1 kilometer, right? So instead, I'm just going to die, and then the nearest settlement is Windsward. So I just traveled 1 kilometer, 1,000 meters. I think that's a kilometer? Yeah, kilometer. That's how metric system works. Anyway, and so here I am in Windsward. So I can like pick up quests, turn in stuff, store things. Like I just went harvesting so I can put everything in storage. You know, maybe do some trades, buy some new stuff, whatever, right? But I still have my campfire all the way out here, which is, how far away is this campfire? It's about 1.1 kilometers. Cool. So I've done my business in town. Time to respawn. Back to the campfire. And look at that. I just traveled 2 miles in under 1 minute? Or 2 kilometers? Okay. But now I want to go up here to Everfall. Alright, and that's 1 kilometer away from my campfire. Cool, right? So I'm just going to run up here a bit. And, yeah, let's go to Everfall now. Alright, nearest settlement, Everfall. There we go. Now we're in Everfall. We've just traveled 3 miles now. Imagine if you ran this on foot. Imagine if you spent Azoth to fast travel, right? Imagine if you burned your inn's cooldown for 1 hour, or your house, if you own one, that's a 2 to 4 hour cooldown you just wasted, right? But not me, I'm just using the campfire, right? And here I am. Anyway, yeah, so if someone plays copyrighted music on the microphone, I don't want that in the video. That's why I was kind of trying to talk over it, guys. Anyway, so I'm in Neverfall now. I've done my business, and now I'm going to respawn again. And back to the campfire I go. Alright, you get where I'm going with this. There's no reason that you shouldn't be using and abusing campfire warps, okay? Like, you can put your campfire near a bunch of, like, things to harvest, like some iron resource nodes, or anything of the sort. And once you've harvested it, you can then teleport back to town, do your business, teleport back, harvest it again. And here we go. Let's go to Monarch's Bluff. Now, how far away is Monarch's Bluff? You'll wonder. Well, it's about 1 kilometer away as well. So you can see that I put the campfire almost perfectly in the middle of all 3 towns. And I just need to get a little bit closer, because if I die here, I'm actually going to warp to this tower. Which, if you want to do this kind of strategy, you cannot start at Monarch's Bluff. If you've never discovered this tower, you will never have to accidentally death warp there. So now, I respawn, and nearest settlement, Monarch's Bluff. There we go. So, we just traveled 6 kilometers in, like, 3 minutes, guys. That's, speedrun strats. So yeah, make sure you're using campfires. Put up a campfire near a tough area if you're doing a quest, so that if you die, you can just respawn right next to the mobs and try again. You don't have to run all the way back from town. Like, see, Cutlass Keys, like, here's the town, right? This town will have you do quests all the way down here at the bottom, right? And there's a boss monster here. So imagine that you ran for 20 minutes or longer all the way down here. You finally get there and you die. Well, you don't have a campfire, so you get sent all the way back to town. That would be a sad day. Make sure you're using your campfires, okay? Alright, and number 10 is not fixing voice chat. I don't really have an example to show you in this, but if you tap your voice chat key, oi oi lads, you can see whenever I talk that my microphone has sound waves coming out of it above my character's head. That means my microphone is working. However, if you push your push to talk button and the microphone is red and it says port failure, there's an easy fix. You just press escape, you go to settings, and then you go to communications, you go to voice chat mode, you go from enabled to disabled, you wait a second, then you go to disabled to enabled, and you wait until that little thing loads, and then you tap your voice chat key and we're good. You can, as long as you're making sound waves, you are good. Like, right. Or like you saw there, the sound waves weren't working. Hello, hello? Yeah. Yeah, yeah. Now, you want to make sure that you check this every once in a while when you enter new zones, new towns, if you want to voice chat, okay? Because you can't hear other people if your voice chat is broken, and of course, it's kind of upsetting if you go to talk to someone and they can't hear you. Voice chat's been kind of buggy lately. Hopefully it gets fixed. Another thing to do, which I can't show off right now, is that if you press escape and you're in a party with people, you will see a little button about right here on the screen that you can toggle group chat on and off. So when you have it toggled on, only your party can hear you voice chat. No one else can hear you, and you can't hear them. So you can turn that off and have proximity voice chat so you can hear everyone around you. Alright, and that's how to fix voice chat. Make sure that you're doing that, otherwise you're going to have not as fun of a time. Alright, number 11 is not farming the right nodes. So for those that are unaware, yes, there are rare drops in nodes for certain crafting materials. Like if you mine iron, you can get fey iron sometimes, but in the world, there are certain mining nodes that will always give fey iron. So let me demonstrate. These little wooden wolves here, they will always drop a very rare crafting material called life quintessence whenever you harvest them, okay? So let me demonstrate here. We're going to get weird wood from them, and we're also going to get life quintessence. Every single time. Like, there we go, life quintessence. Alright, now if I were to normally go out and get life quintessence, I would have to have a very low, tiny % chance to find them from certain nodes, or I can just come here and then kill all the wooden doggos and get life quintessence. It's very simple. Same thing goes for if you know other rare nodes. Like there's a mining node in Cutlass Keys. I've made a video on this as well, but down here in Snaggletooth Burrow, there are some mining nodes and they will always give you a brilliant gem every single time. So if you need to farm brilliant gems, there's no reason for you not to go there and farm that every 10 minutes or so. It's a waste of time to try to get brilliant gems elsewhere, unless you know guaranteed node spots that drops brilliant gems. There's no reason you shouldn't farm the correct node for what you're trying to craft. Alright, number 12 is not using fish bait when you fish, okay? Bait is incredibly simple to get. I can pick up these flint stones during the day and get night crawlers. I can pick up the flint stones during the nighttime and get glow worms. I can tear up these bulrush bushes and get fireflies. I can tear up regular bushes and get woodlouse. There's no reason that you shouldn't be using bait when fishing. It dramatically increases your yield in most fishing poles. There are a few fishing poles that are bugged and baits do not work at all in. But also, like right now I could fish this fishing hole and I can get some decent fish, or I can just put on some bait that I just grabbed for the video here, and my yield will be way, way higher. Like, I read a Reddit post where a guy fished an entire day and he only found 1 treasure box. Well, it's because he wasn't using bait or using fishing holes. I can use bait in a fishing hole and I can get multiple chests out of... This is just a tier 1, right? But at a tier 2 higher, I can get multiple treasure boxes. So, just for the sake of the video, let's see what we get. And boom, right in the hot spot. That was really loud. I've never heard it splash that loud before. Also, my sound is bugged because it's not making reeling noises. I think I broke my sound. I can't hear anything in the game anymore. Hello, game? This one is a little hard to reel in. But we can still do it without sound. That's fine. I'll have to fix this after the video. But y'all heard that. That was a loud sploosh. There we go. And we got a large sturgeon. 69 pounds. Woo! Okay, game. Why is my sound broke? Anyway, on to the next tip. Alright, so this is a pretty minor one, but using other people's camps. So this is a campfire someone else made, and I can set my recall here, right? But the thing is, you don't want to rely too heavily on this, because if this player logs out or makes a new campfire, you suddenly don't have a spawn point anymore. It's so much simpler just to put down your own, and you know you have it, it's reliable, it won't go anywhere until you log out or you place a new one. But for all I know, this player, you know, they could, like, I set my spawn point and I wander off and then I die. And for all I know, they could be done for the day. They've logged out, or maybe they've made a new one somewhere, and then I have to spawn all the way back at town instead of near this area of whatever I was actually doing. So don't rely on other people's campfires, make your own. They're very simple to make. Alright, number 14, fast traveling while loaded. So check it out. I'm carrying 397 pounds worth of stuff, which, that's impressive, right? And let's say I need to fast travel somewhere for a quest. So let's say I need to go, like, right here, because I have a quest nearby, and it's going to cost me 206 Azoth. So you see the base cost is 50, then there's the encumbrance cost of 156. So I'm paying a lot to go here. 206 is a lot. That's 1/5 of your total that you can hold. So instead, store all your stuff that you can so that your weight is as low as possible. I'm at point 0.1. So now when I try to travel here, where was it at? It's now only 50. So there we go. Make sure that you're not using fast travel while you're loaded up with items, okay? Unless you're trying to, like, move storage stuffs. In which case, if your alliance or your, you know, whatever owns the territory, you can transfer it for a small fee in the storage and not have to actually travel there. Number 15. Alright, so, jokes aside, not doing your faction dailies. Did anyone get that? So if you'll notice here, in the faction menu at the top, you'll see daily bonuses available, right? I've already done 1, but I have 2 available for the rest of the day, right? Now check this out. This quest here is supposed to award 590 experience, but when I click it, I instead received 1,823, and it took one of my dailies. So I just got triple the amount of experience for that quest. And this one is 570, which gave me 1,761. So daily bonuses didn't go down for some reason. Okay, game. Weird. Oh, there it goes. I just had to close and reopen the menu, and now it's gone. So now this one should only reward 430 experience, which it rewarded 442 because I do have a small boost to experience gain. But there you go. So you should always do your dailies because it's basically like doing 3 quests for every daily. So Don't miss out. Don't miss a day. If you're still leveling, if you're still raising your rep and your tokens and all that fun stuff. You know, 3 a day, it's not too hard. They take literal minutes to do. And yeah, I know most of us, we're going to no life this game, and we're just going to constantly do these quests anyway. So it's just a little bonus, a little icing on top. But still, if you don't have much time in your day, just make sure you get your dailies done. Alright, well that's the video. I'm Swole Benji. Hopefully these tips helped you out. As always, be a bro and stay swole. Make sure you leave a like and a comment. You gotta do both. If you do both, it is an algorithm combo. It is a YouTube cheat code. It really helps me out. Also, 73% of you aren't subscribed. Hit subscribe right now. I make a daily New World video. Daily videos every single day. Very useful ones, fun ones. Who knows? Just hit subscribe and you can get a video every day sent to you. Alright, I really do appreciate it, lads. It's completely free to subscribe. You can always unsubscribe later. Take care. I will see you in the next video.